Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming News. This episode sponsored by GameStop. Not just kidding. We wish, but GameStop, going retro, coming to a store near you. So, GameStop has always sold used stuff, but it's usually the last generation. You know, they used to sell really old stuff back in the day, and they quit doing all that. But GameStop is now pivoting to sell a lot of retro stuff in some of their stores. Lucky for us, we looked and we have one in our area that we need to check out. They listed 18 classic systems they're going to support. No love for the PSP fans out there, but you know, the popular ones, Nintendo, SNES, Game Boy, Sega, all that kind of stuff, you know. And even Dreamcast, which is kind of cool. We all took kind of a quick look at what they've got out there, and their prices are, if you compare them to other retailers, they're relatively good. And when I'm talking about other retailers, like I just, you know, DK Oldies is like the worst out there for some of this stuff. Everything's overpriced and not really refurbished, but we compared prices of like an Xbox OG to their OG Xbox, and it was $160 versus $100 even, you know, $99.99 on GameStop. So the prices seem to be pretty decent, you know, all across the board. We were just putting in random games that we know are kind of expensive. The only thing that, you know, that I saw that I didn't really like was that their listings for old games don't tell you if they're like complete in box or just the thing that retro gamers that are buying this stuff are looking for, right? Like if I want to buy a copy of a game and I'm looking for a complete in-box set, I'm like going in and looking for that complete in-box moniker on the title. And they don't sell that. I saw a response by one of them on a question, and they were like, you know, it's used equipment, used stuff. We don't guarantee you that it comes with the manual and the original box and stuff like that. But it looks like if it does, they're not changing the price, right? They're not, you know, I don't know how much rare stuff they're going to get in. That would be, you know, and I'm talking like hundreds of dollars difference between disc only in a box or complete in a box, you know, because some of that stuff, you'll spend a pretty penny for a complete in-box set of something rather than just the disc only, right? So, which is kind of cool. So we have one in our area. We have yet to check it out, but we have plans to go check one out. So see what they got in there. Which they're, like I said, their prices look pretty decent to me. Not the best, but you know, pretty decent. So we'll have to check it out. What I really want to know is what I couldn't really tell from the store was I didn't see a thing that said refurbished. All of it just said testing and working. So they're probably not refurbing it. Which is probably why the huge price disparity between them and DK Oldies. But DK Oldies says they refurb stuff and they don't. So, which is kind of cool. In my opinion, if you can get this stuff, like I have no problem cleaning and refurbing my own consoles if I have to, right? I wouldn't buy anything online from them, you know, but I wouldn't buy anything online from DK Oldies neither. So I don't typically buy anything from DK Oldies. I'll buy it. We go to retro game cons and we'll buy stuff that way and things like that. But I think this is probably an interesting segue for them. I don't know what you guys think, but hopefully it'll be a venture for them to make more money. Cause you know, if I can go get myself we check out retro game cons and stuff like that to get a Dreamcast and stuff like that. A lot of times, you know, especially if you go to like, you know, for us, it's Mo Game Con is the big one, right? If I could get a Dreamcast console for relatively cheap, or, you know, I already got a Saturn, if you could get some of that stuff at relatively cheaper prices, then, you know, why not? You know, I don't know. Cause I don't know. I'm hoping it's good for them. I don't really want to see GameStop go away, but you know, if you watch some of our other episodes, we talk about Sony possibly getting away from this. That's kind of a death nail for somebody like GameStop, right? I mean, if people aren't buying discs, GameStop becomes somewhat useless. They have to reposition themselves as retro or a gaming apparel outlet or something, right? A gaming outlet of some kind, right? Buy your Funko Pops, buy your game figurines, buy the physical hardware from us, but you know, we're not going to be selling like PS6 game because they're all digital, or if Xbox is still around and Xbox X2 or whatever comes out, they'll sell the console but no games, right? So They got to rebrand themselves somewhere. The GameStop saved them for a little while, but without them figuring out a new game plan without physical discs, something's got to change. Nick, what do you think about GameStop pivoting and selling retro stuff and us having a retro GameStop in our area?
I like retro. GameStop used to do this back in the day, and they stopped, and now they're back to doing it again. So it's really cool. Like you said, the only thing that sucks is you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you're just getting the disc or if you're getting the manual in the disc or the manual disc in the case. You just don't know, right? Some of the images they have out here are of the case and everything's, and then some of them are just the disc. But if you look at it, like, it's not going to say, what exactly you're getting. So, that's the only thing that sucks. The best thing is to go in store to see what you're going to get. But everything that's listed online is not going to be in store, right? So it's a gamble, right? Whenever you order from stuff like this, or when you order retro games online, unless specifically notated, it's always a gamble on what you're going to get. Especially for retro stuff, it's better just to see it than to take a gamble and order it. I have ordered retro stuff online before, and it's worked out pretty well in the end. But it is a gamble. So I like that GameStop's doing this. I think the prices for most of these games are pretty decent, and they have a lot of games on here. So some rare games too that I'm like, man, there's some rare ones on here that you typically don't see very often. And I don't know where they got all these games from. And they've been holding out for a while, I guess, on here. It seems like, because they got a lot of titles out here for pretty good prices. I wouldn't mind, like, and I might try this. I might buy some and then maybe do an unboxing here on the channel of what we get, right? This is what you get when you buy from GameStop's Retro, what kind of to expect, maybe buy some games from, PlayStation and from some other ones and just see what we get, in the box, that'd be kind of cool. But still, it's really cool. And yeah, I mean, especially the consoles, the original Xbox was, I think, $100. Those are hard to find, and when you do find them, they're usually more than that, especially around here. So $100 is a pretty good price for a lot of the retro consoles. The retro console prices on there are pretty good. But again, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, I would assume that they probably at least make sure that they function. So, that's good. I don't know if they clean them and things like that. But at least they test them to make sure they function. And so, even if you got it and it was dirty, you could clean it up. It's not a problem. Yeah. You would hope that they clean it, but
they guarantee that it was tested and is guaranteed to work, or you return it and get another one or get your money back.
There you go.
Yes.
And I'm assuming the games are the same way, right? They're guaranteed to work. Because a lot of those old PlayStation games and stuff like that, like the backs were like scratched to hell. So, I mean, some of them are scratched to hell and they still work, and some of them didn't, right?
Somebody used them as freaking shoes and walked around their house on them all day or something.
Used them as frisbees or coasters.
They used them to move their furniture around, put one foot in, and
put them underneath so they could slide it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it's cool. It's nice to have. Hopefully, this will bring more traffic into GameStop. I know GameStop's having a really hard time lately keeping people interested in their store and in the brick and mortar, and their, I don't know how their website's doing compared to the brick and mortar stores, but hopefully this will bring more people in, and maybe more traffic through their online site and stuff like that, which might help their bottom line, right? And that's ultimately what they're trying to do here. So hopefully that works out for them. I don't know. GameStop's been teetering for a long time, so we'll see which way the teeter totters this time. Shane,
nice segue.
Felt like a newscaster.
So, like the guy said, some of their prices really are pretty good. Now, like they also said, not guaranteed to come with case or, guides and whatnot. So that's where you gotta think about, is the value, the price you're seeing, is it worth the value of the low end of the spectrum of not getting the box, not getting your guides, things like that. So you got to play that out. But I mean, it seems like I'm just looking at Dreamcast right now because that's one of my favorite consoles on the planet. And they've got a decent selection. Really, they do. And price wise, not bad at all. They have a copy of D2, which is an amazing goddamn game. Pardon my language. I love that game. And Nick has it, because Nick has everything, the bastard. But they have it. It's $100. I don't think that's too bad of a price. Now, that's with case and guide. Then it's probably definitely worth the $100. But if not, I don't think it's worth it. So it's a hit and miss. Now, you can return your stuff in 7 days. So you're rolling the dice, playing the odds, but it's not a bad deal. And like Nick said, I don't want to see GameStop go out because I love physical. My Xbox Series X is about the only thing I ever buy digital for. That's because me and Budhead here, who has all the games, we share. So it works out great for us. But PlayStation, Nintendo, plus, we all have retro consoles. I mean, I got my retro stuff back there, my Steelbook collection up there. I love the old stuff. And if this will keep GameStop on the corners, I'm good for it. But they just, but if it does well, they can't get stupid and DK oldie this thing, because we don't want that. We want to be able to trust where we buy our games. So, but really, it's not looking too bad. I'm quite impressed, honestly, with their selection. I browsed through the PlayStation. I browsed through the Dreamcast. I haven't seen I haven't looked through their Xbox yet. But, there's a few things in here I might pick up, and I'll let Nick do an unboxing because, he already has them. So why not? But it's a good thing, though. I think anything that keeps games in the hands of gamers without violating them on cost, I think it's a good thing. And this looks like not a bad deal, as long as their product that they're selling works. That's the kicker, because these are old games. Sometimes you never know what you get. I buy stuff from garage sales all the time. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you get treated like one. So, but I'm happy with it. It's a good thing in the gaming world to know that you're getting something like this, because there are a lot of retro game stores, be it online or just down your street, that are shady, that are great. You just gotta test the waters and figure out which one you're getting. The three of us used to go to one here down the road from my house, and we used to really enjoy it. And then they started scalping consoles when the PlayStation and Xbox last released, and we won't go there again because that's a detriment to gaming. It's not a good thing; it's a bad thing. So. But there are some places that are still holding up quite well. Leveled Up Loot, I really like them. I believe you guys go to them occasionally as well. So anything that keeps games in my hand, a controller going, I'm just a happy boy. Plus, their selection is really surprisingly good. I was really surprised at some of the games that I saw across here. So D2, I brought up. It's it's $100. Crazy Taxi, which was an amazing game if you haven't played it. It's just such a blast. So, plus there's some in here I don't ever remember seeing. Egg, Elemental Gimmick Gears Sega Dreamcast. No idea, but it just sounds like some I will play. So, but this is awesome. Makes me happy, and if it makes me happy, that's great. I don't like sad.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I was kind of browsing through there and I came across a game that I remember playing as a kid that I loved that I forgot all about, but it was a Sega Saturn game, Mr. Bones. I don't know if you guys played that one. I
love Mr. Bones.
And I was like, oh, I forgot about that game. And so then I was like, oh, I got off on a little YouTube video of somebody playing. I'm like, oh, I remember that game now. The music and the ambiance and the, losing little parts of your skeleton and having to find new parts and stuff. I was like, I remember this one, or playing the bongos or the guitar or something. I'm like, this is a fun game. So yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I don't like about the GameStop thing, though, is that they basically have this disclaimer on everything. Instead of actually selling live products, they're just like, here's a listing of everything with a picture. Like if you're looking for a game, they're like listing a picture of the disc, right? Or the case. And it says, item pictured is not necessarily the item you will get. Cannot guarantee you that it comes in the original case or with the manual, or things like that. And I'm like, man, that's the worst thing about these. Like, and as much as I don't like DK oldies, because I don't think that they refurb anything worth a dang. They just wipe it with a rag and, call it refurb. And then they test it to make sure it powers on. But, is that they actually usually picture the item that you're buying. It's complete in box. They'll tell you it's complete, because that's really, like, as a retro gaming collector, like, this may be for the actual people who just want to play the game and not be the collector. Is I want to see the condition of the manual and the box and the disc. I want to say, I want to buy the highest quality version of that game I can for the least amount of money as I can. That's the whole concept, right? And I'm willing to go down on the quality a little bit to get a lower price, but I'm not willing to, pay like a premium price or even a mid-tier price, a mean price, average price for something that's below the quality specs that I want. Like, I don't want to pay average price for something where the cover in the box is like sun faded and rubbed off and the manual's been folded in half like somebody used it freaking smack a bug with or something. I'm not willing to bend on some things like that. I can deal with imperfections in the case a little bit as long as it's 80-90% intact and looks good, but you don't get to see that. So I would never buy anything from their online store as being a collector of that kind of stuff. I will go into the store and browse their collection and be like, does that have a manual? How does the manual look? How does the case look? Is it sun faded? Is it look like somebody spilled something on it? What it is. Because that's why I have a problem buying like steelbooks online, because every time I see a steelbook online, that looks cool. And then you order it and it comes in like dented to shit or scratched. And you're like, I missed a disclaimer that item in the images is not necessarily what you'll get. So, but, I think it's a pretty good deal and we're going to go check them out. And then, maybe we'll get some video footage of our GameStop. Hopefully it's not like a little small corner in the store, like a one rack, and that's all they got. I want it to be like half the store or a quarter of the store or something, but we'll see.
Hopefully their selection's bigger than what I got.
Hopefully their selection's bigger than Nick's selection. I doubt it.
I don't think they can hit that now.
Yeah. All right. You guys got anything else about GameStop going retro?
Nope.
That's stores near you.
Power to the player, baby.
Yeah. And they also offer pro discounts too. So if you're a pro member, you get a little bit off, So
or use Pat's. We'll put that link in the description below.
Use my pro membership so I get more reward points, right? All right. Well, let us know what you think down in the comments. You've reached the end of this episode. If you're not subscribed, come on, help us out. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified of new videos that we post every week. And we hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.